What's going on, YouTube? Today I bring you my tackle rankings for the 2022 NFL Draft. Sorry if I sound a little sick, I kind of am. Without further ado, let's get into it. Starting off, my number one tackle projected, because definitely not right now, is Evan Neal. Size is definitely there. The dude's 6'7", 360 pounds. Going into his third year here in Alabama. Obviously, he is a very, very, very physical dude and has a ton of power to his game. And I've said this before, and I know it always confuses some people, but while he's a powerful blocker, he lacks that core strength. He gets put on his butt way too much because he lacks that just core strength, as well as his stance definitely could use a lot of improvement. Super physical dude, and actually really athletic for his size. That he's kind of one of those freaks like a Mekhi Becton, where he's just so athletic for his size. It's really just, he needs to build up that core strength. I definitely think he needs to fix his stance a bit, but also he could get better in run blocking. He's athletic, but he kind of just struggles with keeping up at times, just making smart blocks in general. Evan Neal has a ton of potential. He has the size, he has the physicality, he has the traits to be a fantastic tackle in the NFL, but we'll really have to see how he handles it this year. It seems like he's going to be moving to left tackle. He looked pretty good there towards the end of his left tackle tenure there with Alabama, so we'll see what he does this year. If not, I think this guy could make a fantastic guard because he definitely has the size and definitely has the traits to be a top-level guard in the NFL. But for right now, I have him at tackle, and we'll see what he does there. Number two, we have Kenyon Green out of Texas A&M. This guy is a guard switching over to tackle. Obviously, you're going to see, he's not the same size as Evan Neal, but he actually still does have pretty nice size, 6'4", 325. Although he's not the biggest guy, that's actually a strength to the way he plays his game because he's super athletic and has a very nice stance. He's also a very solid run blocker, simply because he's just able to get out there. He's one of those guys that are, would be he's like your go-to guy when you're swinging a guard over for a swing block. Lacks, again, that power. This time it's not just strength, it's just in general he's not the most powerful blocker in the world, but still pretty good. And really the key to his game, I feel, is that he is super versatile. I think he's going to play guard just as good, if not better, than tackle, and I think he's a super capable guard. Could also play center just as well. He's kind of this guy year's Rashawn Slater. In terms of versatility, there's one other guy here who is super versatile, but I think when you think of a versatile offensive lineman in this class, the first guy that comes to mind is Kenyon Green. I do really like Kenyon Green. We'll have to see what he does at Texas A&M this year. Let's see how he handles playing guard. He could be better, could be worse, who knows? But for right now, I have him listed at tackle because he will be playing tackle this season. So Kenyon Green at number 2. What was that? Number 3, we have Jamari Salyer. Sorry, I don't know if you saw that little glitch on the screen. Jamari Salyer out of Georgia. I'm a big fan of Jamari Salyer. He's got nice size. Could not find his age. He's in his 4th year here now. Thing about Jamari Salyer, he is a super powerful blocker. I mean, this power is pretty Evan Neal-ish, but not quite Evan Neal. And he's a fantastic pass blocker. I mean, he's super, he's not athletic, but he's super good at, keeping the edge just away from the quarterback, even if they're just going full force around him. This guy's definitely not a speed blocker, but he holds up against speed rushers very well. Run blocking, again, could use some work just because he's not the fastest guy. He's not athletic. He's not he does need to work a bit on some the smarter blocking type, but it's not a huge deal. And also, again, he's just not very athletic. But if I'm remembering correctly, I'm pretty sure he's played guard previously. So he's also a very versatile player. And again, with this size and stuff, if he really doesn't work out at tackle, he's a guy that, he's kind of a safe bet to have at least a starter level guy at the guard position. So I really like Jamari Salyer. I'm a big fan of his game and stuff. But I also think, he plays with so much more speed and athleticism than he really has. And so ultimately that's what gives him number 3 at the end of the day for me. Could drop, could rise, depends on Georgia. But I do think he is going to be great for Georgia this year. Number 4, we have Thayer Munford out of Ohio State, 6'6", 315. In his 4th year here, very nice power. He has a ton of upside, and he's very athletic. Thayer Munford is actually a bit of a weird prospect because when you really look at his game, he really has it all. I mean, he has the power to his game. He has the athleticism, like sort of similar to Jamari Salyer. Although he's a bigger guy and definitely more of a power blocker, has that ability to just keep the edge from setting that outside. He does a really good job at that. The problem with him really is more the consistency. I mean, there are times where just flat out he just lets the guy get right past him. There are times where he looks like a great pass blocker and then sucks as a run blocker. There's times where he looks like a great run blocker and sucks as a pass blocker. He really needs to pick up the consistency. I still have him as a first round right now because that talent is obviously there and on display a lot of the time. Really, the one thing you can add him on is just that, like, he's not the best power guy in the class. He's not the most athletic guy in this class, but he has it all. And if really he just works out the consistency, he could be the number 1 tackle by the year's end. Number 5, we have Zion Nelson out of Miami. I kind of gone back and forth on this guy so far. He's got decent size. He plays with the power you would expect, but just kind of has struggles with more of the physical side of the game. Once again, a very powerful athletic tackle, but his stance definitely needs a lot of work. I think he gets sat down a bit more often than you like, but also he just kind of struggles in that mental aspect. He's not a very good run blocker because he just is not able to create those holes very well and stuff for his running back. But also the fact that he just struggles overall as a blocker. He lets guys kind of have their way with him, and that's not a good sign. Physically, he kind of reminds me a lot of Garrett Bowles in a way. He is physically definitely there, but it's that mental aspect of the game that he's really lacking in. And so maybe he's a guy that coming into the NFL, he might take, 3-4 years before he really gets going. But if he does, cool. I don't know if he is, though, just because, Garrett Bowles, at least, like, you saw that there was that obvious talent there at Utah. And with Zion Nelson, I just feel like, again, he's not the most powerful guy. He's not the most athletic guy. And he also kind of sucks mentally. So we'll really have to see how he plays this year. But for right now, he's my number 5. Number 6, we have Jackson Kirkland out of Washington. Very nice size. Now, he's sub 300, but he's only 5 pounds under, so, he can kick that up. But 6'7", though. Obviously, that's the highlight here, is that he has very, very nice size. And for his size, super athletic, actually has a very nice stance. I think he probably has the most, NFL-ready, aspect to his game. He is a very consistent player. He has that mental side of his game already, and his stance is pretty much about as good as you're going to get coming out of college. Now, at Washington, you're not facing the best pass rush talent in the world, but, that's just something to know. But also, he's not the best power blocker in the world. Definitely far from it. He's a consistent blocker, but he's not a very good power blocker. And also run blocking. He is athletic and stuff, but he just, again, he's not the best run blocker. Even though he has the traits of, he's athletic, he has that mental aspect, he still kind of just lacks as that. He's not a bad run blocker. He's just not the best. But overall, I do really like Jackson Kirkland. We'll have to see how he plays this year. Again, because of the competition and just the fact that he's not the most powerful guy in the world. I have him at 6 right now, but he could very well rise up into the top 3, maybe even number 2. I don't think he could ever be the number 1, but he could be top 3. So. Number 7, we have Abraham Lucas out of Washington State. Again, another guy with a very nice size. However, he's 238, so he is a very, very light tackle. 6'7", again, so obviously nice size, but he has really nice power. That's really why, at the end of the day, the weight hasn't been that big of an issue for him, is because he has a really, really nice power to his game. Also a very nice stance, and just overall, you can see it's sort of similar to Jackson Kirkland, that he is just one of the more NFL-ready guys. Now, the issues is that, even though he's a lighter guy, I already discussed how he has that power, he definitely lacks in athleticism. He is not very athletic, he's not very fast, and naturally that's going to limit his run blocking. I would say he translates better to guard, but it's just that size, even though he's tall, he just does not have the weight. I kind of fear what's going to happen with those big, bully pass rushers. Although, again, he has that nice power and he has that stance, which is why he's held up so far in the NFL. How well is that really going to hold up? We'll have to see. So, I don't really see him rising up these rankings. I think he's kind of near his ceiling where he can be, just considering his size and everything. But also the fact that you're definitely not facing the best competition there at Washington State. So yeah, overall, I don't see him rising in these rankings, but he could be a solid day 3 type guy. So, well, not day 3, more like round 3. But number 8, we have Wanya Morris, transfer from Tennessee to Oklahoma. Wanya Morris is another interesting prospect. 6'5", 320, so pretty nice size. Super powerful, super athletic, and just shines as a run blocker. Or as a pass blocker, Problems with him is that while he's athletic, while he's a good pass blocker, he really lacks that speed. Like, he's pretty slow, which is why I definitely think he might translate better to guard. Another thing is that he's just really, I think he still plays very raw. He doesn't look super NFL ready just when it comes to his stance, his mental aspect of the game, and all that stuff. I feel like if he were to be drafted this year, it might take him 4 or 5 years before he starts going. If he does start going, I feel pretty confident about him as a guard, just because, again, he lacks that speed and stuff. But I think as a tackle, as it stands right now, I have him at 8. Very well could rise in these rankings, but for right now, just due to those things, he's going to be here at number 8. Number 9, we have Nicholas Petit-Frere. Pretty sure that's how you say it. Maybe it's Petite. To let me know in the comments. 6'5", 310. He's a guy that at first glance seems like he has nice size, but he is kind of he plays a bit smaller than he really is. Super athletic tackle, very good speed as well though. He's a very, very, very good run blocker. I really love watching this guy run block. But, again, like I discussed, because of the size and stuff, he definitely suffers from lack of power. Pass blocking is a bit of an issue at times. There were a few times where he didn't play the best when he was out on the field. And another guy that's just pretty raw. At the end of the day, he's still definitely lacking that, mental aspect of the game and stuff. So once again, I don't see him really coming out this year. I still have him on the list, but, I think he'll probably stay another year at Ohio State just because I really don't think, unless he has some big jump in play this year, he's still just a very raw prospect. So Nicholas Petit-Frere here at number 9. Number 10, we have Tyler Beach out of Wisconsin. Tyler Beach, I'm a big fan of. 6'6", 309, has very nice size. I think out of all these tackles, he's one of the most NFL-ready guys. I don't know if he's the most, but he's one of the most. The thing about Tyler Beach is that he is a very good, very consistent passing and run blocker. You rarely see a guy just you rarely see this guy just let someone right behind him. Also, he's got very nice power to his game. He has nice size, nice power. He does definitely lack in the speed, athleticism department, but that doesn't really slow him down from being the run blocker that he is. He's a very smart player, which is part of why I think he is so NFL ready. There at Wisconsin, he's held that position down there for 3 years now, even though I'm pretty sure they have a 5-star guy behind him. So very impressive on his part. Wisconsin, you're not facing the best pass rushers in the world. I think it would take a really, really good year from him this year to be higher than this. If he has a great year, he can be higher than this. I just don't see him top 5 yet unless he has that kind of a year. But for right now, he is going to be here at number 10. And then take note of these guys. A lot of good tackles in this class. Charles Cross out of Mississippi State. Had him on my first mock draft. And he's okay. There's just a few other guys I think I'd take over him right now. Rasheed Walker, same case with him. But I'm a little concerned about his pass blocking. Darian Kennard looks like a potential good tackle out of Kentucky. Daniel Falele. I thought he should have come out last year. I don't really see him improving at all this year there at Minnesota. So he's probably still a late day 3 pick. Jack Snyder out of San Jose State is a guy that I think could be a surprise blow-up prospect this year. Keep your eye on him. I really love his game. Not the best competition there at San Jose State, but regardless, I think he could play pretty well. Tyler Vrabel out of Boston College. I think this is a guy that, maybe he's not the most talented guy in the world, but I think his play might be naturally elevated a bit there because Boston College does have such a good offensive line already. So we'll have to keep an eye on him. Eric Swenson out of Oklahoma. I really like him as well. I think I'm going to take Wanya Morris over him right now just because I think Morris has a bit more traits that I like. Swenson still is very good, but I think I need to see him kind of show out first. He really hasn't so far. Jordan McFadden out of Clemson, he's been fine. I think that Clemson offensive line was held down big time by Jackson Carman, so we'll have to see how Jordan McFadden handles kind of being that number one, number two guy on the line now. Dylan Parham out of Memphis, again, just a smaller guy maybe you want to keep your eye on, shows some nice physical upside. And then Nick Broker out of Ole Miss. He was also my mock draft, and looking back on it, like, there are a lot of better guys than him in this class. He still has some potential, but I think he's lacking a lot of those core traits of a tackle. So, a lot of these guys could work out better at guard. But that is the video. If you guys did like, don't forget to leave a like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell so you never miss an upload. Tomorrow, we're going to be finishing our top 10 players in the NFL series with our safeties. So stay tuned for that. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see all you guys in the next video. Bye-bye.